Boy, I do love Resident Evil. What's going on, everybody? Resident Evil 9 Requiem got announced last week, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. The world's on fire, but Resident Evil 9 is coming out in less than a year, so hopefully I make it to the end by then. There's a lot of wild theories running around. My personal favorites are this guy is Leon Scott Kennedy, who's now a murderer. Another favorite of mine, Spencer is somehow still alive, even though he got a hand ran through his chest. Or somehow the guy is also the guy that's hooded is Wesker. There's a lot of crazy theories going on. My personal favorite is one I saw on social media. Somehow Leon is the father of Alyssa, or Alyssa's daughter Grace. It's beautiful. I love this fandom. I love this community. We got generational haters, and we got people who just spout the most inane babble ever. But I want to talk about this video about my boy Leon. As you know, a lot of people know Leon is my favorite character, probably in all the media. I've always enjoyed him as a character. He seems so real. The way he experienced trauma and PTSD, his entire life ended in Raccoon City, where the world of Resident Evil truly began to change for the worse. And if the rumors are true, this is the end of the storyline that started almost 30 years ago with Resident Evil 1 and the Spencer Mansion. There's a lot to think and digest on. How do you satisfy fans of 30 years and the payoff is worth it? We can't have another Resident Evil 6 where it's convoluted and bloated and the storylines go nowhere. It needs to be a proper send-off. And if the rumors are true, this is Leon's last game, and generally when someone's playing in their last game, it's not good. So, I think Leon, my favorite character in all of media, is going to die. And I know what you're thinking, Twitchy, don't say that. You're bringing madness on the world, despair, but if it's Leon's last game, they're not just gonna let him retire. I think it makes sense Leon going back to where his life truly ended, in Raccoon City. Yeah, Raccoon City's it got decimated by a nuke, thermobaric, missile. It changes through the multiple endings of Raccoon City, whether it's 3 Remake, the Outbreak, 2 File. Like, it's changed throughout the years, but just looking at this shows that there's still a Raccoon City, and if you look farther off, there's a lot of buildings left standing, so we really don't know what the story is. And I think Grace will be front and center. I honestly believe there will be 2 separate campaigns that will intersect towards the end. Like A and B scenarios, maybe. A good callback to Resident Evil 2. Grace's story will be more focused on what we all know and love about Resident Evil, survival horror. And, you know, she doesn't seem like she knows how to handle herself with a gun. She seems to mostly stick behind a computer, as apparent by the way her office space is cluttered. You know, she clearly is focusing on this virus. Maybe the T-virus transformed with the radiation, and that's what these deaths are about. So maybe the T-virus was mutated by radiation. Maybe the G-virus was mutated by radiation. We know nothing, and I'm sure we'll know more at Gamescom, but it's interesting. You know, how do you have such a big payoff? I think by killing a main character. Listen, I'm the first person to say I want Leon Scott Kennedy forever. But honestly, if you're gonna end a character, it has to be Leon. I've always said Barry needs to die, but Leon's life, I think, changed for the worse because of what happened in Raccoon City. Chris is still finding a reason to keep going. Leon was a drunk even before the events of Raccoon City. He became more of a drunk when he realized all this senseless violence and destruction just kept going around him and no sort of reprieve. It would kind of make sense that Leon gets a proper send-off. He goes back to Raccoon City for some reason, and then he's on a hunt to find Grace Ashcroft. Maybe Ada tells him about Grace, that she's important, that the wrong people are looking for her. Grace gets captured. We see that she gets captured, and Leon's campaign involves him just going ham, using his massive arsenal at his disposal to find her, and while she's escaping and trying to find her way out of this nightmare, and their campaigns intercede at the end. Maybe there's a good or bad ending where Leon dies, or he just retires, I don't know, or Grace's blood is used to bring new life into this person, whether it's Spencer, whether it's Wesker, maybe it's a new character that's been hiding in the shadows, maybe it's some unknown Umbrella exec that's been here since the beginning that Spencer was not able to kill. Again, there's no telling. I just feel it in my bones that if there's even an inkling of truth to those leaks, Leon's in it. And maybe he's gonna be like Chris, or maybe there's gonna be 2 campaigns that follow him and Grace. There's no telling. But if you're gonna kill off a character, and I say this wholeheartedly, I don't want him to go, but I think it's Leon's time for his day in the sun. It's time for Leon's last stand, and I know it'll be a good one. You may think that's crazy, Adam, killing off a character that's literally Capcom's bread and butter. Yeah, I would agree to that, but I think it's Leon's time. I love Leon, don't get me wrong. He's literally my favorite character ever. But Leon suffered so much, and maybe this is his way of letting go of his trauma and PTSD and doing one more good thing. Maybe he can be a guide for Grace. Maybe he can guide her and teach her to be strong and toughen up. We might even see Ada. We might see Claire. This might be a swan song for Leon Scott Kennedy. This could very well be his swan song. We know clearly Chris survived throughout the years because he's guiding Rose in the next generation of the BSAA. But Leon's always been that wild card. He's went from doing work for the president to working at the DSO. He's seen a lot in his life, and if you're gonna end a character, it's gotta be Leon. You gotta do it right though, because there has to be some sort of payoff. Honestly, if they bring Wesker back, I'm just not going to be fond of it. Sure, Spencer makes sense, but Wesker had his final send-off. Honestly though, it's a gray area because, bring back Wesker, he kills Leon, I think that's stupid. Bring back Spencer, sure, I can sort of get it. Village sort of gave us this concept that he met with Mother Miranda. He might have learned a lot by the time Wesker shows up, and maybe that's just a clone that was dying. I don't know. Again, I don't want to bring back Wesker. I don't want to bring back Spencer. I'm perfectly fine with just being this guy that's been hiding in the shadows for years. But it's just not up to me. It's not up to us as fans. We just gotta hope whatever happens, the payoff is good. But I think this is Leon's last hurrah. I think this is Leon's end. I think his journey has come to an end. He's going to go back to Raccoon City, reminisce of how his life changed forever, and then he's going to be on a warpath. And I think I tend to believe Jeff Grubbs over someone like Dust Golem, because Dust Golem is clearly wrong yet again. Jeff Grubbs said it's going to be action focused, and that makes me think our boy Leon's going to be in. Resident Evil 4 Remake was heavy action focused, so it seems almost certain that Leon's in some capacity, whether it's a massive role or a role similar to how Chris was in Village and 7. But I think Leon, if he is part of the main story and he is a main character, then he needs a good send off. He needs to. It's not. I don't want it to be like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, or gosh, like some of the battles, like the OK Corral. I don't want him to go out like that. I want it to be a proper send-off, one befitting of our boy in blue, Leon Scott Kennedy. I want it to be a memorable experience. I want our boy Leon's journey's end to be a good one. And I honestly believe that it will be. I don't think if this is his last game and he's gonna die, I think Leon will do our boy right. Yeah, I'm salty that Chris seems to be the only main character and we know anything about in the future, which now we know why. Because I just feel it in my bones. I think Leon is gonna die. But I also think we're gonna see familiar characters before that happens. Leon's gonna have some sort of proper send-off with all his friends, and he's just gonna die. I don't want him to die. Don't paint this as I want Leon Scott Kennedy. I want him to make lots of babies with Ada. I want him to retire and be an old man. And 20 years later, someone comes to him for advice because a new shadowy organization has made its mark on the world. But I don't think we're going to get that. I think Leon's going to die. I think this is the end of the road for our boy. And you know what? I bet he's going to have a heck of a send-off. I bet he's going to have the heck of a final journey. And you know what, man? That freaking rocks. And I think our boy Leon Scott Kennedy, of Italian descent, is going to have a heck of a final stand. But honestly, guys, what do you think? What do you think Leon's in it? Do you think it's just Grace? And if Leon is in it, do you think he's going to go out with a bang? Let me know down below. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It helps your boy get into the algorithm. And if you're feeling super generous, maybe, just maybe, consider subscribing, turning on notification bells to keep updated when I post. But that's it. That's the video. I love you all. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.